Welcome to Check with Chip. I'm your host, Chip Maxwell. The left is declaring that Donald Trump's victory was nothing more than a triumph of angry bigotry. We on the right cannot let such claims go unchallenged. A few years ago, I had a spirited exchange on the radio with a black caller who had no use for the Tea Party. He said African Americans align overwhelmingly on the left with the Democratic Party because the Republican, conservative, Tea Party right side of the political spectrum is racist. I said blacks have been played by the Democratic Party for decades. That really set him off. He laughed and said my comment is why blacks gravitate to the Democratic Party. Racists on the right think blacks are too dumb to understand what is in their best interest. I said it wasn't about stupidity or intelligence, it was about making the wrong choice. Very smart people can make very wrong choices. I'm saying African Americans invested in the Democratic Party are mistaken, not ignorant. During the 2004 presidential campaign, there was a student straw poll at the predominantly black inner-city middle school in Omaha, where I worked. A black student was explaining to me his choice of U.S. Senator John Kerry, a Democrat from Massachusetts, over the Republican incumbent, President George W. Bush. Bush hates black people, the student said matter-of-factly. I said I was surprised to hear that and asked the student how he knew. Because he's a Republican, the student replied, as if explaining that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It's simply the way things are. I noted that Bush's Republican father and our 41st president had picked Colin Powell to be the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the nation's highest-ranking military officer and a crucial advisor to the commander-in-chief. I also noted that Bush the son had picked Powell to be the first black Secretary of State, one of the most important positions in a presidential administration, and then picked Condoleezza Rice, a black woman, to be his national security advisor, and then chose Rice to succeed Powell as Secretary of State. I asked the student to guess my party affiliation, and we both burst out laughing. I don't blame African Americans for evaluating the modern Republican Party with wariness. From the late 1940s to the late 1960s, Southern racists in the Democratic Party formed the Dixiecrat movement to promote states' rights as a way to protect racial segregation. When that movement ran out of steam, some Dixiecrats migrated to the Republican Party. The Dixiecrat movement is dead. Our burden as Republicans is to convince African Americans that their future depends on the same things every American's future depends on: self-reliance, personal responsibility, and striving to participate in and contribute to American exceptionalism. I'm Chip Maxwell, and this is Check with Chip. Thank you for listening.